Welcome back to the Cathedral of Information, beloved Turkish Spotlight Secrets family. In a world as tempestuous as Turkish entertainment, where glitz can outshine grit and loyalty is traded like a commodity every time a new contract is inked, rare flashes of courage cut through the fog. Every once in a while, inside the maze of cameras, spotlights, and rewrites, an act of solidarity erupts with such force that an entire set shudders. Today isn't about poolside flings or whispered flirts. Today is about a corporate earthquake fused to a personal stand, a double epicenter anchored by Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel. The industry's corridors aren't humming, they're roaring. The whispers have sharpened into warnings, and the talk is no longer idle chatter, it's a reckoning. Word from behind closed doors says a clash over artistic respect has been simmering, and then a detonator was pressed. Barış confronted the producers with a 7-word line that froze meetings mid-sentence and chilled boardrooms to silence: "If Yağmur walks, I will walk too." What could push one of the most bankable names of the moment to set fire to his own golden ticket? Is this the downfall of a juggernaut series, or the starting bell of a new era where stars safeguard art as fiercely as they guard image? Before we pry open the safe and see what's inside, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss the fallout. And if you want to back fearless storytelling that turns on the lights where others prefer shadows, tap join. Your support is our microphone. Ready to hear what really led to the ultimatum? Let's step in. To grasp the blast, we have to trace the fuse. Trusted eyes from the heart of the set insist this wasn't a tantrum, not a whim, not a single bad day spiraling out of control. It was attrition, quiet, slow, grinding. The center of gravity is Yağmur Yüksel, an actress whose blend of warmth and steel has kept viewers hooked week after week. But the leaks agree on one point: her character began slipping down a slope engineered by the very people meant to champion her. Writers. Whether under pressure, lost in the weeds, or captive to a lopsided vision, started trimming her presence, shading her out of crucial scenes, and letting a role built with care recede into the margins. Picture the ache of watching a heroine you sculpted with patience and fire dissolve into background ambience. Those close to her say it wasn't vanity, it wasn't a diva flaring up for screen time, it was a plea for consistency, respect, continuity. In quiet moments with people she trusts, she let the hurt show in a sentence that landed like a sigh and a warning all at once: I should matter more to this narrative. She wasn't hunting for extra close-ups. She was protecting a character's spine. While she carried that weight, someone else refused to stand aside and look away. Here's where the script flips. In an industry where self-preservation often trumps empathy, Barış Baktas refused to file a complaint under "Not My Problem." He felt the bruise as if it were his own. The electricity we see when they share the frame isn't stunt lighting, it's the echo of trust built off camera, of a work partnership tightened by everyday grind, the long nights, the relentless retakes, the shared responsibility of making something that breathes. Insiders say you could taste the discomfort. Breaks turned hushed. Jokes thinned out. The air wore a heaviness that routines couldn't shake. Then, during what should have been a routine alignment meeting, or maybe right after a scene that collapsed under the weight of tone-deaf dialogue, Barış made his position unmissable. Not about money. Not about perks. Not about ego. About principle. If Yağmur walks, I will walk too. 7 words. A hand on the emergency brake. And suddenly the room, the week, the entire production schedule felt different. Let's take a breath and stare at what that means. He didn't demand a raise, an entourage, or a bigger dressing room. He tied his fate to his co-lead on a matter of creative integrity. He knows the story glides on 2 wings. Yank one, and he's not interested in watching the other beat alone. And now I want to ask you, Turkish Spotlight Secrets family, have you ever had a colleague step across a line to stand by you when it actually cost them something? Is Barış being noble, or is he playing with fire? Drop your thoughts below. Members who hit join get priority replies and behind-the-scenes breakdowns from me when the dust moves. Panic is the only word big enough for what happened next in the production offices. Late-night meetings began to stack like dominoes. Calls multiplied. Schedules groaned under emergency rewrites. Yes, losing one star wounds the story, losing both can gut the house, not just creatively but financially. The tunnel of risk widened fast. The rumor mill says the producers scrambled with a pledge to restore what should never have been lost, a strong, purposeful arc for Yağmur, a recommitment to her character's center of gravity, scenes that carry weight instead of filler. The promises were glossy, richer scenes, layered development, a rebalanced narrative. But promises can be paper-thin if too late or too calculated. Barış, for his part, didn't backtrack. He didn't escalate either. He chose to wait without blinking. His statement stayed suspended like a sword above the room, a dare, prove it or admit this was all talk. Meanwhile, the tremor cracked the shell beyond set life. Marketing and commercial partners felt the tremble run straight into their ledgers. Brands didn't fall in love with a title, they invested in the magnetism of a duo. Barış and Yağmur sells because the bond the audience senses is the engine of influence. The brands know math better than emotion, and their math says the couple is non-negotiable. From what we hear, agencies delivered messages with all the softness of a hammer: keep the pair intact, or we reevaluate everything. And when money starts to frown, power shifts. The leverage slides toward the actors who have not just talent, but undeniable pull. While the orbit around them spun, Yağmur chose a weapon sharper than any press statement: strategic silence. "I won't speak until the dust settles," is how those near her describe her stance. It's composure. It's intellect. It's survival. She knows any word tossed into a storm gets twisted. Silence forces movement elsewhere. It pushes the people with control to act, to draft, to revise. And don't underestimate her team, they're working in the shadows with precision, meeting producers, listing safeguards, asking for guarantees that won't evaporate after a single rating spike. This isn't about special treatment. She wants the compass reset, permanently, so strong women don't have to beg to keep their strength. Predictably, the trial moved to the loudest court in the world, social media. Fans filled the square with banners made of text and hope and worry. One crowd cheered Barış's stance, repeating versions of the same truth. Together they raise the value of the whole. These supporters see an opening to rebuild the show into what it promised: sharper, braver, fairer. The other side, more anxious, asked the question that stalks every thread: if both exit, what's left standing? Is this a negotiation tactic or the start of a televised tragedy, a breakup that will echo as a case study in how not to handle stars and story? Some called it brinkmanship. Others called it integrity. And under every argument ran the same current: fear of loss. Now, remember, people on the set who watch the slow drip of every day insist that none of this bloomed overnight. This was fatigue gathering momentum. Colleagues paint a picture of two professionals who clock in and do more than say their lines. They trade notes, adjust beats, patch dialogue together, remind each other to breathe when hours stretch to the horizon. It's not romance on the clock, it's something sturdier, a working alliance built in the trenches. So when Barış stands where he does, he's not indulging a whim. He's guarding the soul of the work they make shoulder to shoulder. He knows that stripping depth from her character hollows the world they built, and he knows that letting a quiet wrong go unchallenged only invites larger ones. The next days will decide the arc of an entire season, and maybe ripple beyond it. That unresolved question, if Yağmur leaves, does Barış go too, is poised to leap from rumor to headline. We could witness a renaissance, a refocus that lifts the series to the standard audiences imagined from the first teaser. Or we could watch a giant buckle because it couldn't honor the talent that held it up. However it breaks, the moral scoreboard is already flashing. Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel have drawn a line where art and dignity meet, and they've refused to back away. Here at Turkish Spotlight Secrets, our eyes are on this 24/7. The instant a contract shifts, a script revision lands, a spokesperson clears their throat, we'll be there first. If this story of loyalty and backbone lit a fire in you, press like, share it so the message carries to the rooms where decisions are made, and think about joining our VIP circle by hitting join. Your voice makes this platform stronger. Your support lets us ask the questions others avoid and keep telling the truths that bright lights try to hide. And for those of you waiting for a resolution, know this. Sometimes the most powerful scenes are the ones playing out behind the camera, where courage is quiet, choices are costly, and the stakes are not ratings alone but the respect owed to the people who bring these worlds to life. When the dust settles, either the story will have found its heart again, or it will have taught the entire industry a lesson it won't forget. Until then, we're on watch, and we'll bring you every turn, every tremor, every promise kept or broken, right here, where you know we don't blink.